the New Orleans Pelicans, as this is a team that just continues to get better and better, and damn near better than I've ever seen it, as the Pelicans are now 39-25. They're fifth in the West. They're now up by 2 games, though. They're on the slightest of islands. I think they're down 2.5 when it comes to being in fourth, but they're up 2, so a little bit of a buffer for this Pelicans team after winning 4 consecutive, which actually ties their highest winning streak of the season. How about this? They are 14 games above 500 for the first time in 6 years. The 17-18 Pelicans are the last team to reach that benchmark, and I know they didn't do it this early. Who do the Pels have next, actually? I haven't looked at the upcoming schedule, because the point is that you could be talking about a Pelicans team sitting there at 40-25. 40 wins, not even 70 games into the season. I don't think I've ever seen the Pelicans do that.
So,
go ahead.
They got the Cavs next, Wednesday night, and it's in New Orleans.
Okay, so returning home. Cavs a good
Cavs,
team.
Clippers, Trailblazers, all at home before you go on the road to Brooklyn, Orlando, Miami, Detroit.
Okay, Cavs, Clippers. That's a nice. That's going to be a tough little 1-2 homestand. But either way, again, this is a Pelicans team that just better and better, man. And this weekend, it was especially apparent, and it's because Murphy's so hot right now, and Najee Marshall had a big game, which was that Friday or Sunday as well. But who are you going to defend if you're playing the Pelicans right now? Because it feels like everyone can score, and they're playing with chemistry. It's not hero ball. It's not just one guy on the other. It's Zion consistently driving with a speed and a touch and an ability to avoid defenders that I've never seen, and then now dishing it out to CJ, who's shooting over 40%, Herb, who's shooting over 40%, Najee's damn near 40. Trey's not at 40, but lately he's basically been shooting 50. It's just, again, and then you have Brandon Ingram, right? Who's really one of the lone remaining kind of 2-point mid-range specialists in the league, but even he's shooting very well from 3. He's excellent at finishing around the rim. Jonas has, again, that's what I'm saying. There's just so many options, and when they play with one another, there's flow and there's confidence, and most importantly, there is trust between these guys. And it's not just on the offensive side. I mean, defensively as well. Your holding team's pretty consistently to under 100 points right now. It's a Pelicans team that is ascending here at the most important time of the year to be ascending.
So to your point, T-Bob, like when you play the Clippers, okay, like Kawhi Leonard, okay, he's going to a lot of times guard your best player. That's fine. But the thing for the Pelicans, whoever he decides to guard, well, that means that James Harden's going to guard somebody.
Yep.
Right? And that player has to be the one that night. And when you have 4 guys that you feel like can go out there and, like Zion, B.I. for sure, C.J., Trey, like all these guys you feel like can give you 30 on a given night, well, whoever like a guy like James Harden's on, like that has to be the guy that goes off that night.
Yeah.
And that's a strength for you. It's a strength, the fact that it can be a different guy every night. So Kawhi Leonard, who's a really good defender, if he shuts down option A, that's fine. And then also with Zion playing multiple positions, right, and point Zion, like you got to make a real choice on who you put on him as well, because a lot of times if you put a big on him, he's faster, more athletic. If you put somebody smaller, well, he's going to dominate because he's bigger than you.
Yeah.
And that's why you play him at the position that you're playing him right now. So the Pelicans have so many different options that it's going to make other teams have to really think about how they use their best defensive player.
And I love how they started the road trip on Friday night, making a statement early going into Philly, opened up that game. I mean, just jumped on their ass, 36-13 after the first frame. Great defense, great outside shooting, great paint scoring as well. Now, granted, credit to Philly. They end up making that a game near the end. But even that I love, because you saw guys show up and make the plays that the NBA is going to be a game runs. Like, it's rare that you're just going to carry a team wire to wire like that. Like the other team, they're paid too. They're eventually going to make a game of it. So all of a sudden, when it's a few minutes left, you're only up 10, and Philly has all the momentum. The crowd's going insane. It looks like they got an easy layup, and who comes up with one of the most disrespectful blocks you'll ever see? Zion does. And then he goes back and it sets up B.I. for a big 3 on the other end. Then you're only up 6 with a minute to go, And you have Zion with a clutch finish around the rim to once again put you up 8, and then Herb comes back the next time and he hits the dagger 3. So it was they jumped on him early, but then when everything was working against them, they found a way to stave him off and say, nah, we ain't gonna blow this. I think, and we've seen the Pelicans blow plenty of leads. I think last year they may have led the league, I think in like 15-point leads, and which you end up losing the game, but Zion's play, look at the play right before half in the Philly game. 6 seconds left. They roll the ball to about half court. This man picks it up, and he is so fast. We don't talk about Zion being fast too much. He's so quick and so fast. He picks it up off the ground. He slices through an entire NBA defense, and he gets from half court when he picked it up, from half court to the rim, scores, and there's still 2 seconds left. And it's every single game you watch. You just still can't. It boggles my mind how insanely consistent his ability to finish is and making these really tough finishes look easy. These little deft flicks of the wrist over multiple defenders. And what I love, too, everyone thinks they're going to draw a charge. They see Zion getting ahead of steam, and every single time they try to draw a charge, and he just basically turns into smoke. And somehow like reappears on the other side. No, his ability to avoid all of these charges that people think they're going to draw it's unlike anything I've ever seen. And so, yeah, again, he doesn't need to be able to shoot when you can do that. And I don't know how that's going to work out super long term, but he doesn't need to be able to shoot when you can do that. And then you can consistently set up your teammates like you have been. Again, that stat line on Sunday may be his perfect stat line. 27 points, 6 boards, 7 assists, 2 blocks. And like Jake pointed out at the start of the show, only 1 turnover. Look at that thing too, dude. Zion Williamson, he's fun to watch. Fun to watch right now.
I think the
Playing
rotation,
the best basketball of his career.
I agree with you. And I think the rotation that we saw against the Hawks is exactly what you're going to see in the postseason. You played 9 players. You had Williamson 36 minutes, Ingram 32, Jones 30, Valanciunas 17, McCollum 31. Then you get to your bench, Nance 29, Marshall 18, Alvarado 17, Trey Murphy 30. Like that's a pretty good formula for success. And if you have to maybe bump up Valanciunas' minutes depending on maybe a matchup, that's fine as well. Maybe you bump Nance down, right? Depending on the matchup, and we've talked about that. Is it a more athletic 5? Is it a bigger 5? Do you need a physical presence? Whatever it might be. But those 9 guys right there, that feels like your playoff roster.
Yeah.
And you still have a bench. If you need a 3, Ryan can come in and he can give you a 3. Hawkins the same way. Those are your shooters for the postseason that you keep on the bench. And if you need, well, I don't like when you smirk. It makes me nervous.
Why? No. No, keep going. Keep going.
Do you have another Hawk in the chat?
No. I got distracted. Keep going.
No, it's just like the final point is like, okay, so you have 2 shooters in Ryan and Hawkins, and those guys, that's great to have in the postseason as well. Probably not going to get a whole lot of minutes, but they're there, and you know if you need a shot, if you're playing catch up a little bit, you're going to start shooting more threes, okay, here they come. And that's fine. But those 9 players right there, the 5 obviously in the starting lineup give you what you need, and then Nance gives you an athletic 5 that can play multiple positions. Najee, we talked about it. He's your enforcer. He's a good basketball player, but he is a mentality guy when he comes in there off the bench.
Yeah, he's one of the dogs that Paul Pierce was referencing last week.
And then you have Jose Alvarado. We know what he is. He's the same situation, but he's also a really good defensive player. And if they got a point guard that's going off, okay, throw Jose in there and make him angry, right? We've seen how much he can get under players' skins. And then you got Trey Murphy, who's maybe one of the best bench players, if not the best bench scorer like in the league.
Well, when he is the piece that has put the Pelicans over the top lately. Yeah. When he is playing like this, it makes the Pels damn near unbeatable. Like probably like a top 5 or borderline top 5 team in the entire NBA. And when he's not, they're still very good and they can still win, but it's just different when he gives you the consistent outside threat. And what I loved, I think it was it was the Hawks game on Sunday at the very beginning, because, Trey's a high flyer too. At the very beginning, he goes up for a dunk at the end of the first quarter at the buzzer. He gets blocked, and the whole crowd's going crazy. They're trying to flex on him, trying to embarrass him, and you could see the fire light up in his eye. And he's like, all right, All right, you want to play that? Okay, we're going to play that way. And then what did he do? He went and dropped 28 on their head.
Yep.
Again, if it's felt like it's been so good lately, well, Trey Murphy's gone over 25 times the last 6 games. And so it's no surprise that you've won the majority of those games. And so, yes, if he can, he doesn't have to maintain the damn near 50% run that he appears to be on right now. But if he can avoid the slump and maintain 40 or better, then yeah, all of a sudden, I do believe I believe that the Pelicans, like that's probably the key to them, like winning a playoff series. They're probably if Trey Murphy can stay near this level of play, I think the Pelicans are a top 4 team in the West.
I really don't think there's any question. If he plays like this and you have this piece that can come off the bench, and again, he can play multiple positions. He's so long.
Yeah.
I mean, he can do multiple things for you. It can be the key because these postseason teams that we're talking about, they are going to have a guy like that. Now, it might not be as good as Murphy can be at his highest, but they're going to have a guy like that. And you have to have pieces in the postseason. You have to have different guys that play different roles, and it's certain roles. And we just laid out what the roles for this Pelicans team can be. They just have to be those things in the postseason.
Yep.
And if you get that done, T, then yeah, you can go and you can win a series. You can be very competitive. That's why people that cover basketball for a living at the highest level and played at the highest level, like a Paul Pierce and a KG, the clip we played, they see something building in this Pelicans team that can be very fruitful in the postseason because of all. I mean, those two guys have won championships. They know what it takes, and they know that you have to have certain pieces. Not oftentimes are you going to have a team that just goes out there. Like Golden State is a little bit – they're the outlier because they went out there and they shot their way to a title. Like that's not always going to be the case.
Yeah, but who won that first Finals MVP?
Iguodala. Iguodala, yeah.
Right? So not even one of the big three necessarily.
Right? And
that's what I'm
they've
saying.
got key pieces.
And it's like on that Celtics team, Big Baby Davis. Like the big three needed Big Baby to get across the finish line there. You have to have those ancillary pieces, and the Pelicans have that right now. One of my favorite highlights of the weekend, too, was the Zion to Trey Murphy alley-oop, which, well, I mean, if you didn't see it, go look it up because there was a nice little reversal there. Also, they were in the Skeletons uniform once again. That's the other thing I want to say about Trey. You mentioned the length. That's when they become so scary defensively as well, is when you have Herb, Trey, Ingram, Zion, everybody's so long. And then if it wants to be Nance or Valanciunas, everybody's just so long on the court at that time. It would be a nightmare to have to try to find passing lanes against this team. So shout out to Pellies. Huge weekend, badass weekend, going on the road, getting 2 wins. And so what now, Jake? When's the 2-game homestand start?
Let's see. You have it coming up. Is it not tomorrow? It is. Nope, 2 days from now. So you got it on Wednesday. So you got Wednesday, Friday, Saturday.
Wednesday, Friday, Saturday. Another big week coming up, but we loved what we saw over the weekend.